Tonight on Q2, the fight over energy.
Traditionally, Laurel has had control of about a mile radius around its own city, and now the county has wanted to step in and take control of that.
The public and Laurel city leaders debate over zoning and the gas plant, plus a zoo of traffic on Zoo Drive.
Quality of life, I think, will be improved. You'll be able to get in and out of Costco or some of the other businesses, the hotels, the ribbon shop, different restaurants in the area.
Costco craziness spills over, and that means a big makeover is in the works for surrounding roads. And rallying behind the wardens.
Their lives were pretty much turned upside down. They lost their entire house. I believe there was 2 pets in the house, and all their belongings as well.
A community comes together, supporting the family now starting over. Your MTN 10 o'clock news starts now.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm David J. The future of the Northwestern Energy gas plant once again front and center in Laurel tonight. It's in regards to a proposal looking to amend the city's 5-year growth policy, which would have a major impact on the plant. Tonight, city leaders gathered, hoping to once again make a decision.
Aye. Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you.
The Laurel City County Planning Board voted to table the growth management policy update.
We do not have minutes, nor do we have the input from the county commissioners or the county attorneys.
And because the growth policy is needed to work on zoning issues, the board also tabled the county's request to consider zoning regulations around Laurel in the planning jurisdiction.
It was discussed with the county attorney that we cannot move forward with any kind of zoning regulations until the growth policy has been settled.
Those opposed to Northwestern's natural gas plant say they're concerned about the city giving up its zoning jurisdiction and a change from agricultural to heavy industrial zoning.
This isn't the zoning change per se, but it sets the stage for that. It's the first step. And so as soon as you see that show up on plans, you need clarification. You need to object to this potential use.
I want to rest assured to you as a resident out there, there's nothing that this planning board or the county commissioners or the city council is trying to do and change zoning at this time.
And Northwestern Energy put out a statement before the meeting. Required permits were secured and regulations were met before construction on the Yellowstone County Generating Station began in the fall of 2021. Projects are designed in the best interests of our customers and the communities we serve. Before making a decision, the board will hear more from the public in an open workshop on January 31st. The state's largest utility says that gas plant could have prevented it from having to import electricity from out of state during this latest bitter blast. This week's Arctic chill shattered records and will be remembered as one of the worst in Montana's history. Ultimately, the frozen tundra took an unprecedented toll on Northwestern Energy. Tonight, Q2's Haley Monaco has a first-hand look at what it took to keep that heat on in homes across Montana.
It may be no surprise that when the temperatures drop, people head to their thermostats to crank the heat. And when that happens across the state, it obviously impacts energy usage.
That consecutive, prolonged cold spell.
A 6-day stretch of Arctic temps.
Need to use more energy to keep their homes heated and the lights on.
Didn't just shatter temperature records, it created historic demand for electricity across Montana.
We did see peak loads on the grid.
Take a look at this graph from Northwestern Energy. The red line on this graph shows nearly 1,200 megawatts of electricity being delivered during peak hours during the Arctic freeze, nearly double what it was producing before the storm.
That's a forecast. Those numbers will be final after we complete meter readings.
To put it into perspective, in July of 2021, during a heat wave, 1,909 megawatts were generated for Montana, holding the record of peak demand for electricity until December 2022, when 2,073 megawatts were used. On January 13th this year, the peak demand on the grid was 2,079 megawatts.
More than half of the energy that served this very high demand that was for 6 days in a row was imported, most of it from out of state.
And it was a similar story for Yellowstone Valley Electric Cooperative.
This peak was longer. We're seeing the same type of usage for our customers, but more extended this time around.
Yellowstone Valley Electric is a part of a different power pool than Northwestern and has a set contract. So as usage increased, they did not need to import power energy from elsewhere.
We are part of the Southwestern power pool. And so that is an area that covers 9 states all the way from Montana to the north part of Texas.
But they too were extremely busy keeping up with outages and calls for service.
When we have cold weather like that, we call in twice the amount of guys that we think we're going to need.
Record low temps seen across the state with record-breaking impacts for electrical usage. In Billings, Haley Monaco, MTN News.
We'll now head over to the Weather Center, where the temperatures will eventually warm up, but we aren't done with the snow quite yet. With the latest on this system, here's meteorologist Jason Stiff. Jason?
Yeah, we're far from done with all of our snow. The second wave of snow is already moving into a large portion of Montana. We're getting some light snow around Missoula, Great Falls. Kalispell has almost a blizzard right now. We also have more snow around Helena, Lewistown, and Glasgow too. Heading a little bit further to the south and east, you can see more areas of light snow approaching Glendive. Also a little bit being reported around Miles City, Jordan, as well as the Hysham area, and just a couple flakes thus far in Billings, but we still have more opportunities for more snow going forward. So taking a live look outside on our Stockman Bank cameras, the temperatures today were kind of flipped up and down. The actual high today of 21 degrees happened just before 8 this morning, and we're currently at the low for the day at 9 degrees, and it's still going to be falling. We had about a ½ inch to an inch of snow around much of the Magic City, but the next wave of snow is just on our doorstep. I'm going to give you more details on how much we can expect and what else is coming in just a few minutes.
Well, the really cold temperatures are behind us. The impacts are still being felt today, this time at the University of Montana, where a sprinkler pipe burst in the Don Anderson Journalism Building. The first level and basement of the building had extensive water damage affecting 4 classrooms. However, the biggest loss for the journalism school is the equipment inside, as it was in the direct line of the water. That meant tens of thousands of dollars of gear, $5,000 worth of lenses, along with severe damage to HD cameras and drones. It's gear used nearly every day by journalism students, but the school director, Lee Banville, says they won't let the setback stop learning.
Make them do reporting and journalism for the next 15 weeks. It's just going to be a lot of problem solving between now and then.
The building is expected to be dry within 2 weeks, but equipment will take much longer to replace. The University Center and a few student apartments also sustained water damage during the extreme cold spell. And over in Wyola, school is canceled there for the week due to water issues as well. Tonight, people in Carbon County are rallying behind a family from Edgar after flames destroyed its home yesterday. The Wardens, a family of 8, including 6 kids, all escaped the raging flames, but they lost nearly everything else, including 2 family pets. Now, as they fight through grief, 2 communities have come together to do all they can to lift the devastated family back up. Q2's Alina Howder has the story.
Their lives were pretty much turned upside down. They lost their entire house.
Sarah and Eric Warden lived out their worst nightmare Tuesday.
I believe there was 2 pets in the house and all their belongings as well.
A fire fueled by high winds engulfed their entire house and displaced all 8 members of the family. Sarah and Eric have 6 kids ranging from ages 7 to 19, along with 3 dogs.
When you drive by and you see a fire and you see the kid's car parked there and you hope that you put yourself, in there and you don't want kids hurt.
It's why several businesses in the Carbon County community, including Fromberg Public Schools, are wrapping their arms around the Wardens.
The school has decided to do gift cards to different things or different businesses, and that is being led by 2 staff members here.
The town's well-known watering hole, the Edgar Bar, is also stepping up.
Tomorrow night we're going to have a benefit for them. We're going to do a pot roast dinner, pot roast, mashed potatoes, corn, and a salad for $25 a plate.
The family's eldest son actually works as a dishwasher at the bar, just minutes from their former home.
Our hearts just sank because we know what a sweet, good kid Eric is, and all the kids really are really good kids.
In a small community like this, help is around every corner. Fromberg's Tomahawk Restaurant fundraised for the Wardens Tuesday night.
We do a Taco Tuesday and whatever, just get people out of the house, and it's usually a good evening. And as soon as we thought about it, it was like, okay, we're going to donate down to these guys.
Fundraisers even stretched to Billings. Edgar Bar's former owner now runs Enzo Bistro, which will be accepting donations for the Wardens this week.
Somebody everybody's affected one way or another by it, a little bit more than the rest. And yeah, just sitting on your hands doing nothing doesn't help anybody.
In Edgar, Alina Howder, MTN News.
There were some tense moments along Lewis Avenue today as an assault with a weapon call quickly turned into a 3-hour standoff with Billings police. According to Lieutenant Matt Lennox, officers originally responded to a house in the 800 block of Lewis Avenue right around 9 o'clock. When officers arrived on scene, they cleared out all other individuals but the suspect, barricaded himself in the home, and the SWAT team was called. During the standoff, the suspect's co-workers showed up hoping to pick him up for work, only to find a crime scene. He says while he's concerned for his co-worker, he's unfortunately not surprised by what happened.
I didn't understand that all the cops were here, or the situation that we were dealing with. The only person that can help him is himself. And we've done all the work that we could to possibly help him, and unfortunately, he just went down the wrong path. It just scares me that either he's doing something traumatic or stupid.
Police were able to arrest the suspect around noon and no one was hurt. That suspect, 28-year-old Isaiah Littlelight, faced charges of 2 counts of assault with a weapon and 1 count of misdemeanor assault and others. A Montana State University research team landed $4 million in funding to study how wild and domestic sheep interact. The collaborative project will aim to lay the groundwork for disease prevention and management work across the state. A team will study how often wild bighorn sheep and domestic sheep interact, and the information they collect will help wildlife managers shape plans to allow both species to exist on Montana's rangeland. Other collaborators include the Montana Wild Sheep Foundation, Montana Wool Growers Association, and numerous Montana sheep producers. Still ahead on the MTN 10 o'clock news on Q2, in the fast lane, major improvements coming to Zoo Drive as more and more people hit the road. We'll have the details next. And later in sports, on the ice, for the first time in a long time, the Grizz dropped the puck in Billings. We'll hear from them in just a bit.
The MTN 10 o'clock news continues right after this.